So thank you for having us here today. I think there's a lot of buzz about this topic. So I think super glad to have Deepak, Vaibhav, and Varun here with us. Um, so advancing consumer experiences with AI for growth. I think this is one of the hottest topics we're all talking about, and it constantly gets discussed in every single forum, that we attend or are a part of. I was at the Adobe Summit in March in Vegas, and we had around 12,000 customers there, and that was the primary topic. We were all talking about, how do you advance customer experiences? How do you create private concierges for each customer, personalized concierges for each customer, have assistants for every, every employee of an organization. So, so without much ado, I'll just dive right into the topic. So this is for all the panel members. Deepak, we'll start with you first. How are you aligning AI initiatives with customer experience in your organization, and especially with respect to marketing and growth?
Thank you. Growth with AI is something that I think we need to think more about, and thank you for curating this topic, by the way. Right? I see a lot of people talking about AI, especially it's a marketing forum. We are skewing a little too much towards cost saving. Right? I don't want to shoot that new video. I want AI to do that video for me. I don't want to make images. I want AI to generate the images. It's a cost save exercise, right? Which is great, nothing wrong with that. But it's very unsexy, unfortunately. We are marketing, so we have to make it a little nicer. So my personal account on that topic is very simple, right? There's Adobe, there's a MarTech stack that any organization has. One key thing that the MarTech stack does is personalization, and then with personalization, it does A/B testing. With A/B testing, then it measures the results, saying A1 or B1, right? Everyone does the same thing. We do it as well. So what is the typical story about A/B testing and optimization? We have thousands of campaigns, let's say 5,000, running on auto continuously. Every campaign has a certain revenue attached to it. Obviously, every campaign has a content piece attached to it and a segment attached to it, right? So what we are now realizing is that every time we experiment, let's say we do 100 A/B tests, 50 actually are positive. 50 will fail. The test B will give you a negative result, which is okay, part of life in A/B testing. But 50% of the 100 will actually give you a lift. The engagement goes up, the conversions, because the engagement is high, also go up, revenue goes up. The problem is creating so many creatives, setting up so many A/B tests, running them, measuring them, and it takes a lot of human effort to do it, right? Now, what if this ran automatically while you're sleeping? So imagine for someone like me in growth, I'm sleeping and there is a lift. That's everyone's dream, right? So now with agentic and AI in general, Gen AI specifically, it's actually possible today. So the idea is you run 5,000 A/B tests, generate the content, give the context basis, your current tracking, targeting, whatever you have, and let it run. Out of 5,000, 2,500 will actually have a positive lift, right? And in my understanding, typically the average lift is 10%, right? So imagine half of all your campaigns having a lift of 10% in one iteration. Mind blowing, right? It actually is mind blowing, and it blew my mind. I ran the numbers also. Like it actually is scalable, right? So this is where I think we should venture towards. Don't look at the creative itself and the creative generation process as a way to be disrupted and optimized. Look at the delivery and the engagement part and the iteration part, and can that be supercharged? And it can run automatically.
I think that's super insightful, actually. So you're basically saying the ability to scale the number of campaigns, or with customized content, personalization, and trying to see which ones do better, because now with AI you can scale your number of campaigns and variations accordingly, and then figuring out which one's doing better, and then pick that one and go forward with it and repeat that process.
Exactly. So I'm calling it something because I'm from a bank. So I'm calling it something for the marketeer, right? It's like a SIP. SIP is what? You put X amount of money every month away, right? This is a SIP in optimization, right? Every day, every month, every week, it is investing in a new creative attached to a rupee value and just running it. So, like just like a SIP, the revenues here will grow exponentially because after each iteration, you have a higher benchmark, you have a higher baseline, then you have another iteration. It's beautiful. And we have started doing it now. Results take 4 to 8 to 6 weeks, 12 weeks, but it is very positive.
And this was not possible earlier. Manually, you could never try to even experiment with so many cases. All right, I think that's brilliant. Vaibhav, same question for you. How are you aligning, AI initiatives with customer experience to achieve, for growth marketing?
So I think the use cases are many, but really for us, the consumer journey is still very standard. I'm part of a life insurance company. It's about acquisition, retention, engagement, and then servicing. And really for us, on the growth side, the big role that some of these generative AI tools have played is, see, the performance marketing part had already been taken up by AI about 2, 3 years back, right? We were just a recipient. So interestingly, while we used to think we have some kind of control, we had all lost control, honestly, right? And that's the way it has been for some time now. So the really the big challenge for all of us was once the traffic is on the platform, how can you optimize the entire prospect journey to becoming a customer? And I think from a growth perspective, we found immense value on 2 or 3 elements. One is the tele assistance engine. I think that has completely transformed for us thanks to some of these actions that we've taken. For example, a very smart voice to text platform which allows a telecaller interaction with the customer, whether it is at acquisition stage or servicing stage, giving real-time feed on what the customer is feeling, allowing the telecaller to actually completely customize the pitch. I mean, forget that. A percentage of our customers actually interacting with a generative AI bot on the call, and then a human taking over at a certain point in time to create that empathy to close. So I think what that has allowed us is to scale some of these business units at a very, very fast pace without really incurring too much of new fixed cost. I mean, the variable cost hasn't really gone down, but I mean, as a CFO, my CFO is very happy if the variable cost can stay same and the scale can be built 2x or 3x. So that has really been a big one for us on the conversion or acquisition side. On the engagement side, I think some of these wellness platforms that we've integrated for our prospects and customers that have used, actually, which has completely eliminated you need for a large team for generating content or for generating engaging platforms. I mean, that is all done automatically. Like my friend was saying, you sleep, you get up, and there is a new engaging platform out there for some of these prospects, which allows us to cross-sell. And I think I find a lot of value and usage of some of these tools in an existing customer upselling or further buying without really requirement of a human interaction. So I think great value in terms of bottom line more than top line.
I think what you mentioned was very interesting. Personalized conversations within each. So I'll ask you a follow-up question. I'm very curious. So, what's the, how real does it feel?
It's as real as it gets, actually. See, I'll tell you, the current set of platforms and tools are not world class, I would be very honest. We've just tried a couple of pilots. You can operate, I mean, the first 2.5, 3 minutes conversation can be done, but the moment there is certain complexity, there's a human being who usually takes over, at least on the calling side. On the conversational interface side, we've seen almost 65% of the interaction can happen without the human need of human, right? But on the voice telecalling side, we still see about 30-70. 30% can be done by, I mean, the good part is call from North India. You can have a North Indian accent or a Punjabi accent, female voice talking.
That's amazing.
Which is truth, actually. And we actually use it, and we find the average handling time has gone up significantly. So when you have a call coming from northern part of India and you have a Punjabi accent, female voice interacting with the customer, the engagement or the handling time is significantly higher. I mean, you cannot find everything, right, in India. It's not easy to recruit people so quickly.
Yep.
But with this, we just put in our drop-downs and we can play some of these.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's really, especially the dialects and different accents. I think nailing those it's a big deal. So 30% is a huge number. Very, very interesting. So Varun, the same question for you. How are you aligning AI initiatives for customer experience in your organization?
Right. So, I mean, for marketer or any growth person who's anyway driving a business, there are two large problems in the current world, I feel. There's too much data because of the explosion of data and short form video, multiple things. And second is, result of that is the attention spans are going down. Now the solution to that, what could be the solution? Basically, like Deepak mentioned, for too much data, the problem again is that the creatives are becoming older much faster. Now one creative which we used to run maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we need to refresh that creative in a week's time. So doing that humanly was impossible when we were creating creatives manually. That's where AI comes into picture for me, marketing stack. And when I talk about the other problem, the attention span, the solution to that is giving more relevant, more personalized information. And that can be handled via AI. So in our, like at NoBroker, we are using AI for marketing in terms of multiple things like creating creatives, having that predictive analytics, like which person responds on SMS versus WhatsApp versus email, that and the time of the day or day of the week messaging. All of this is automated, driven by AI. So that's on the marketing part. And to increase the relevance, increase more personalized messages or properties that we show to the users, we have, again, predictive analytics at play, which is in action on the platform. So when a user comes to the platform, the user will see more relevant properties. If the person has already done a couple of interactions, then the subsidiary services which is being sold could be of Packers and Moore's rental agreement because that person is closer to the transaction cycle. These are the things that we are trying to implement. Along with, I mean, we started with no broker promise, so weeding out brokers is our primary goal. So that is also being driven by AI more efficiently now.
So you're saying basically the experience that the customer will go through, that's one of the applications. So basically, if I'm already, let's say I've rented a apartment through your platform. So then what is the next service, the next experience that this customer is shown is something that you're using AI for?
Yeah, so I mean, in Indian context, if you look at the real estate data, is not that pure or noise free. We don't have that kind of data yet. And that's what we tried to solve with NoBroker, so to weeding out the information asymmetry. But being a C2C platform, which is a marketplace, there are certain properties which are exclusive to us, but there are certain properties which might not be exclusive to us. So closing that loop, like the tenant has found a house and owner has rented out a house, was the missing piece. So AI has made that simpler. It's not 100%, but maybe if we were 30%, we are now at 60%.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thanks, Varun. So Deepak, coming back to you. You mentioned about scaling marketing campaigns, right? And kind of indicated at what lifts you're getting through that. What other areas have you implemented AI, and where have they had an impact on customer experiences? You can also talk about maybe the business value that you've seen.
So let's talk service, right? I think CX it's also important, right? Lifetime value goes up as your customer satisfaction score is higher as an individual, right? We all know that. So banks are the only organizations where you get rejected, right? I mean, CIBIL score is too low, income is too low, you want a very high-end variety of credit card, you don't qualify because you're a young person, and that's generally meant for someone who's almost HNI, right? So there's an error screen or a decline screen that tells you something in terms of, sorry, you did not qualify, right? Now that's a very boring, mundane, thoughtless screen, right? But the customer who's applying, the customer who's trying that product needs more than that. And finance is going more into advice rather than hardcore selling now. And we all realize that, right? So the error screen is not going to speak, and we're building it now. The error screen is not going to talk about sorry you declined, right? It's going to say sorry you declined, but build your CIBIL score. Here are 5 ways of doing it. Here are the best practices, right? You may not get the highest variant of the credit card right now because you're a young person. You can't get an Infinia. It's not possible. I mean, we would love to, but it doesn't make business sense. But do this first. Use this card. Here are a few methodologies to build your score, build your credit, and then you'll qualify. right? So this is a great way to improve customer experience, especially in finance, because we are an industry, unfortunately, we have to reject because we don't want, we hold your balances also, right? We can't lend out stupidly. So that's where I think a lot of investment will go through. Whereas advice generated through intelligent AI, which will be super relevant to you because we are churning your data in the prompt itself.
So you're basically saying that advice that you're providing, let's say I applied for an insignia card and I was rejected, said no, you can't get it. Now that advice you're giving me, let's say for example, that would be based on my profile. AI would kind of make a recommendation based on my own.
Yeah, imagine we have your profile, right? Imagine a prompt, your income, your life stage, your psychographics, attitudinal stuff. There's more than just data points on financial transactions. What should we recommend to you? Of course, we won't not let it go wild. We'll fine tune it. We'll test it. Then we'll see reactions. Do you click through? Do you like? Do you click thumbs up on that response? Thumbs on the response, and then scale it. Well, this is a great use case in finance because we're the only industry which rejects, unfortunately, and for valid reasons, by the way.
Yeah. So let's say I'm very curious about this. I'm going to press this a little further. So let's say you've given me, hey Manmeet, you need to get this card first, and then you need to build your credit score to improve your credit score by 20%. So for example, I may be curious and I may ask you a question further up as a conversation, and say, hey, what all can I do to improve my credit score?
Absolutely. And we have a longitudinal database of customers who's gone through your life cycle. You are at a life cycle stage, but there are people who are following you and people who are ahead of you. That view only sits with the bank.
Perfect.
It's pure data, and anyone who's dabbled with AI knows it will be dead easy to churn that data and give you advice that is very, very sharp.
And you really couldn't do this easily in the pre-AI stage.
Not possible.
It wasn't as simple. Thank you. Vaibhav, so for you, right? So you've got AI doing a lot of things, but you have high emotion segments like insurance, claims, frauds, all of that, right? And how do you balance human versus AI in such an area?
See, I would say we are fairly starters in this journey, I'll be very honest. We are not very mature yet on the deployment, at least. We have thinking around use cases, but I'll be very honest. Creative, for example, for among a lot of other categories, ours is a category where the creative has to be really right because we are going to actually sell you the fear of death, right? I mean, that's what we do as a category, that, these things can go wrong and therefore you should get your financially covered. And therefore, while adapts happen completely through AI, but the original or the base creatives are really still a lot of human beings work together to get it done because we cannot go wrong there. But the adapts really is pretty much 100% AI now for us. And on the claim side, I think similar to banking, we are in the business of underwriting consumers' lives, right? Where we have to underwrite their physical aspects, their medical aspect, their financial aspect before we offer a 2 crore or a 3 crore or a 5 crore life cover to these customers. So really most of these tools are, I won't call them AI, they are really algos that have been developed over a period of time basis our experience. What AI has been big help to us is that it is, in a way I think at the center of it, AI helps the customer get closer to the company or the company get closer to the customer. It was impossible to get it done earlier, right? You had to rely on a series of intermediaries to understand what the customer wants. And then the eventual understanding was of customer of a different country maybe, surely not our customer. So that space and time has been reduced. So I think on the underwriting side, it's been a big help because a lot of aspects of the customer, which we usually do not capture as part of our proposal form or information, are actually now being captured as first-party data when the customer interacts with us. That allows us to actually underwrite in a much more sharper manner. The good part is, because we've been at this, at least in this journey, we've been for the last 18 months, we can now clearly see a significantly higher customer lifetime value or a superior mortality experience or a superior retention experience when you try and use these logics back in time. On the claim side, really, we're very clear. The claim processing engine is really as smart as it can get, but when it comes to human claim interaction, it's completely human. Yeah, there we can't take a chance because those are really moments of truth, and you do not want to take a chance when you're going to be conversing with a nominee about a death that has happened a week or a month back. So there it is completely human interaction for us. We do not take a chance there.
I see your point. I mean, you're basically saying that whenever there's high emotion involved, we're not yet as we still don't believe technologies are a place where you can absolutely replace humans with AI there. I mean, it's going to be tough, right? You can't make a mistake there. The stakes are too high.
Absolutely. Because see, in our category, that really is the moment of truth, paying the claim, right? I mean, what else are we for? The purpose of this business for us really is that when a family is in trouble, can you step up that time and actually pay that claim to that family so that the family can continue living a reasonably decent life? So at least in those high emotion moment of truths, we've still not delved into, using a lot of AI. We use a lot of technology, but not too much of AI.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Thank you, Vaibhav. Varun, question for you, right? So we've heard multiple examples today, of AI being used to improve customer experiences versus, operational efficiencies. How have you prioritized in your organization AI investments across these two, channels?
I think so. Very deep question, but if I try to answer it, AI can improve almost all aspects of your business, and that's true. Period. So there's no doubt in that. But at the end of the day, the way we have looked at is which are the low-hanging fruits and which can give us quick wins. And we know that there was certain, let's say, for example, analyst used to take maybe 2 days to mine the data and 1 day to analyze the data, while it should be the other way around. Can this be made better? Now, problems like these we have prioritized. We have tried to solve them via AI, and we have seen good results there. So that's on the operational efficiency part. So we have done it across marketing, across product and business also. Coming to customer experience, I think it's a result of what we have done right in the acquisition part and getting users on board, which is the operational efficiency bit. The customer experience, there are a lot of questions that AI might be eating into jobs. So is agentic AI way forward, and what happens to the people? These are questions which remain. So there I think we have taken cautious approach where we know that like there are certain verticals which we have, like painting or P&M, which are high ticket verticals, and a person or any customer would want to speak to an agent because they want that trust. That's where we have kind of had a hybrid approach. So we know that certain verticals where ticket size is low, everything can be automated, and customers are okay with that. Where they are not okay, there we are handholding them through the journey via AI, and then the real human takes over, or the offline fulfillment happens. Difficult to answer the question, but this is how we have prioritized internally.
No, I agree. I think that's what Vaibhav said as well. Wherever the stakes are high, you have a human in the loop, right? And wherever things are either low stake or it's a transaction that needs to happen, AI can definitely step in and do a good job. So thank you. I think the last question I had for the entire panel is, let's say, 12 months from now, what would you have hoped to have achieved through, in the field of AI-led consumer experiences? Where you hoped would you be, your organizations would be?
I see a lot of marketing agents coming in. Imagine you have, let me use some names so people can relate. Let's say you have a SharePoint. You don't compete with them, you don't care. You have a SharePoint folder with past campaigns, briefs, right? And then you have a product called Adobe Analytics where you have conversion data of those campaigns. Imagine an AI agent sitting on top of both, right? And you write, make me a campaign where I want to achieve X, Y, Z. What do you think will happen? It's obvious to everyone, right? It'll make a campaign for you. It'll make the segment for you. It'll make write the brief for you. Okay, and then it'll look at the data set of past campaigns. Imagine there's another folder which is market research. It'll do the market research for you, right? It'll then present to you, here's my market research, here's my campaign brief, here's segmentation, here's what I think should be said. He said, okay, very good, I like it. Tweak it a little bit, maybe to 2 more prompts, hit generate creative. It obviously will generate the creative. And then you just hit shoot. Yep. It'll happen in 12 months. I won't be shocked if this happens in 12 months. It's so easy. I can build on my own computer at home. This is possible today, right? So yeah, this is the future.
Wonderful perspective.
I think the 2-3 things that have already happened, I think in the last 12 months is, and I'm giving you real data here, are about 18 months back, I remember our performance marketing and campaign management team was the largest team in online business. And now our creative team is the largest team. So that team has actually shrunk and the creative team size has gone up because, some of these platforms are crazy creative velocity required, right? And we are still using AI, but I just explained why the core creatives, we still can't, outsource to AI, let's say. That has already happened. The quality of conversations in the meeting rooms have gone up significantly thanks to Copilot. Everyone is smart. I mean, it is amazing that how over a period of time you can train Copilot or some of these platforms to exactly know what your boss is going to ask you in the review. I've seen it at least 3 or 4 times. Because if you put in the last 3-4 minutes of the meeting and the last 4 decks, 100%, I'm almost 65% sure they will tell you what question your boss is going to ask at what time.
I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this.
Oh, you must. I mean, I use it extremely frequently. So I think some of those elements have already happened. I think what I'm hoping is that we've been growing at 60% for last 3-4 years. We grow 60% this year at 0% operating expense growth, really. That really will be the true blue delivery of value for AI, for at least for Axis Max Live, that we grow 60% again with absolutely no growth on operating expense.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, Vaibhav. Varun?
So I think one thing which I would want to see, and one is which I'm excited to see. I would want to see basically GPT for everything, to be honest. It's almost there, but it's not everywhere. But I should be able to ask questions. It could be business, it could be ChatGPT is for everything, but let's say internal business metrics that I have. I should be able to ask questions and should get a precise answer, which reduces my processing time for maybe analytics and rest of the root cause analysis. So that's one. And what I'm excited is, I think if you've seen the recent Zuckerberg interaction, these platforms are moving towards marketers' job being just tell us how much of, what's the amount that you are willing to pay for a conversion, and just give us your credit card. That's literally what he said. And everything else will be managed by the platform. So I'm excited to see what will happen. Not sure which direction it will take, but excited to see that.
Wonderful. Thank you, Varun. Thank you. Thank you so much, Deepak, Vaibhav, and Varun, for sharing your insights. I think I learned a lot today. I got some ideas also, Vaibhav, thanks to the PowerPoint example. So, and I'm sure the audience would have also, taken away a few points from us. So, thanks a ton. Let's give it up for the panel, please.